Let's be real, we've all been there. That uncomfortable, kind of frustrating feeling when your digestive system is just completely out of sync. Well, today, we're going to dive deep into a traditional Ayurvedic approach that Let's be real, we've all been there. That uncomfortable, kind of frustrating feeling when your digestive system is just completely out of sync. Well, today, we're going to dive deep into a traditional Ayurvedic approach that aims to tackle this very, very common problem.
You know the feeling, right? Bloated, gassy, just irregular? It can totally throw off your whole day. And if that sounds even a little bit familiar to you, trust me, you are in good company.
Yeah, this picture probably sums it up for a lot of us. Digestive discomfort is just such a widespread issue, and it's no wonder that more and more people are looking for real solutions, sometimes by looking back to ancient wisdom.
So, what's the plan for today? First, we'll talk about the problem itself. Then, we'll look at a specific Ayurvedic formulation as a case study. We're going to break down the ingredients, weigh the good against the, well, things to be careful about, and then wrap it all up with a final takeaway. Sound good? Let's jump in.
Okay, first things first. Let's really get into the why behind all of this. Why are so many of us on the hunt for digestive relief? Well, it really comes down to a few key complaints that can seriously get in the way of living our lives.
So what are we really talking about here? I mean, things like chronic constipation, that annoying gas and acidity that just won't quit, painful cramps, that constant bloated feeling, and just, general stomach discomfort. These are the exact issues that products like the one we're looking at are designed to address.
So, how does Ayurveda, the traditional Indian system of medicine, actually approach this? Well, to figure that out, we're going to zoom in on one specific product and use it as our case study to see how these ancient ingredients are being used today. And here it is. We're going to be looking at Flabia Ayurveda's Morning Fresh Capsules. It's positioned as a natural Ayurvedic laxative, and its whole formula is built around providing digestive comfort by blending a bunch of well-known herbs.
All right, now for the part I think is the most fascinating. To really get how a product like this is supposed to work, we've got to pop the hood and look at the active ingredients. What's actually in these capsules, and what is each one supposed to be doing?
So this formulation uses a really clever two-pronged approach. Think of it like a 1-2 punch. On one side, you have the stimulant action from an ingredient called Senna. It acts like an activator to, well, get things moving. And on the other side, you have the bulk-forming action of psyllium, which works more like a sponge to soften things up and make the whole process easier.
So let's talk about that activator first, Senna. Medline Plus describes it as a stimulant laxative. What that means is it works by directly prompting your intestines to become more active. And see that timeline? It typically works within about 6 to 12 hours, which explains exactly why products like this are almost always recommended to be taken at bedtime.
And next up, we have our sponge, Isabgul, which you probably know as Psyllium Husk. This stuff is just a natural fiber powerhouse. It's got this cool property called hygroscopic, which is just a fancy way of saying it loves to absorb water in your gut. That's what helps add bulk and soften stool. As a little bonus, it's also known to help you feel full and can even help with cholesterol. But it's not just a two-ingredient show. The formula also has this awesome supporting cast of soothing herbs. You've got Fennel, which is known as a carminative. Its job is to relax your GI muscles to cut down on gas and bloating. Then there's Ajwain, an antispasmodic that's traditionally used for indigestion. And finally, you have Mulethi, or licorice root, which is fantastic for soothing the stomach lining and helps to balance what Ayurveda calls the Pitta dosha. You can think of Pitta as the principle of fire and metabolism, so soothing that fire is absolutely key for comfort.
Okay, so we've seen what's in it, but now it's time to look at the full picture, because it's never just about the potential benefits, right? It's also about understanding the precautions so you can use these kinds of ingredients safely and effectively.
So according to the manufacturer, the promises are pretty straightforward. This product is designed to help relieve chronic constipation, cut down on all that related discomfort like gas and acidity, get you back to a regular bowel movement, and just generally help you feel more light and comfortable. However, and this is a really important however, we have to consider what authoritative medical sources tell us. This quote is from Medline Plus, which is run by the U.S. National Library of Medicine, and it's specifically about Senna. It points out a major risk with using it too often. You could become dependent on it, and your body might kind of forget how to work properly on its own.
And there are a couple of other key things to keep in your back pocket. Using Senna for too long can also lead to issues like dehydration. And when it comes to Fennel, another ingredient in the blend, research has shown it can have an estrogenic effect, meaning it can mimic the hormone estrogen. That's why it's not recommended for women who are pregnant or breastfeeding or for anyone with estrogen-sensitive health conditions.
So what's the right way to use a product like this according to the label? It's pretty simple. 1 or 2 capsules with water, usually at bedtime. But honestly, the most important step here is the last one. Always check in with your own doctor or healthcare professional to get advice that's tailored specifically for you.
So let's pull all these different threads together for our final takeaway. What we've seen is a blend of powerful, traditional ingredients designed for a very specific purpose, but we've also seen some really important guidance from modern medical sources.
And really, it all boils down to this one crucial question that you have to ask yourself. What is the right balance between finding some quick, short-term relief and the much bigger goal of building long-term, sustainable digestive health? Finding that balance? Well, that's a key part of everyone's personal health journey.
Flabia Ayurveda Morning Fresh Cap. Order now!
Ugh, what a rough start. Now I feel fresh and energized. Thanks, Morning Fresh Cap.